Yeah, everybody's talking Dan Hurley this, Dan Hurley that, Dan Hurley, Dan Hurley, Dan Hurley. Welcome back to episode 106 of the What's It Up podcast. I'm your host, Pete Dill. Thank you for watching, listening, checking with me today. I know how busy your life is, but I thank you and appreciate you spending a little bit of your busy day with me. We got a great show for today. We're going to talk about family and career. This battle that our culture goes into. It all stemmed from me reading a New York Times article and seeing kind of the language and the attitude that this New York Times article had about family life and it being an afterthought for career. And then seeing two examples in the sports world, guys at the height of their industry and profession, who are both very strong family men. First, though, I want to talk about something funny that happened to me. I'm, speaking on the subject of family. My son, our little guy, he watches this YouTube personality, this educational guy called Blippi. And if you know Blippi, you know. If you know, you know. Now, Blippi's educational. He's funny. He's wacky. He sings songs. He's got all these different bits. He's crazy. It's educational. He's teaching colors, numbers, feelings, emotions. But one thing he does is he has these songs. And they're pretty catchy. And they get in my head. And I find myself singing them. Now, one of Blippi's main hits is Excavator song. Again, if you know the Excavator song, you know it. And it goes like this. I hope this doesn't get copyright hit dinged. But it goes like, I'm an excavator. Hey, dirt, see you later. So, very catchy. As you can tell by my rendition of it. But they're so catchy that, I'll hear them a couple times and it'll be in my head. So I was at work and, I'm kind of making some coffee and I'm not really thinking of myself and people are behind me. I'm kind of just humming myself, but I started singing the words. I'm an excavator. Hey, dirt, see you later. And the people are younger than me. And I didn't even think, I kind of was like, hey, sorry, I'm just singing a children's song. And they're probably like, what song is this? There's this guy at getting coffee who was saying, I'm an excavator. They're like, what's in that coffee? Well, we gotta check that coffee. What's in that coffee? This guy's saying he's an excavator. No, sir, you're a human, you're a man. And I just thought it was so funny. It's one of those things of oh, hold on, I'm at work. I need to shift out of my mindset of singing these catchy Blippi songs. But I'm sure that's happened to a lot of you out there. These catchy Blippi songs or whatever it is, Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, I don't know. But of these kids things, they have such catchy songs. Blippi, you make such catchy songs, they're stuck in my head. And I'm singing, I'm an excavator at work. So I thought that was pretty funny. And in that theme of family and educational kids shows, I read this New York Times article recently, and the title of it was, "The Success Narratives of Life Leave Little Room for Having Children." And it goes into the ideals of our modern world are at odds with having kids. I'll read a couple sections to kind of add a little color to this. It says, conventional wisdom encourages people to spend their 20s on journeys of personal and professional self-discovery and self-fulfillment. Children are treated as a bonus round, something to get to after completing a long list of achievements, getting a degree, forging a satisfying and well-established career, buying a house, cultivating the ideal romantic partnership. The standards of readiness for family are at once so high and so vague that it's hardly surprising when people fail to reach them. And that's, a little part of the article. I'll read it a little bit more, but I thought that was such a striking way to look at kids and family life, which is you can only have kids after you've achieved personal success. Yeah, I think that can come from a sense of security. You want to provide a good life for your kids. You want to have some stability, and that is good. But I think sometimes our culture wants to put family life and career at odds with each other, at competition with each other. You can only have family after you've achieved success. Or if you want to invest in your family, you can't have success in a career. And I'm a couple years into having kids, a little bit into my career. And I don't know, I just want to encourage any of you out there who feel this tension of career and family and should I have kids? Should I have one more kid? Should I start, should I take that promotion? It's like, don't be scared of trying to balance both. Don't be scared of trying to have success in your career and having strong ambitions and big goals and also having a family. I think God wants us to do great things and be excellent in everything that we do. And you don't have to sacrifice your career if you have a family. And you don't have to sacrifice a family if you want to have a career. It's not easy, and I'm in it with you. If you're struggling with this, if you feel this tension to, family and career kind of tension, I'm in it with you, and I'm trying to figure it out every single day. But one thing I have felt is like, my kids have only made my career more meaningful, more purposeful, and more like focused. And my kids have also made have clarified my career that it's, second to my family, So having kids has made me more purposeful about my career, but having kids has also made me realize that actually my family is more important, that my priorities are my family first. But since I have my priorities straight, I can give a lot to my career and media and podcasts and things like this. Because I know my priority is my family and faith, that I can actually want to excel in the career stuff, in media. And so this article kind of goes into some like political divides of family life and values and what are family values and who holds family values. But it's really good. It talks about like people feeling panic for, not having a family well into their 30s. And, feeling like they may have made too many choices for their career. And then also talks about people in their career saying, well, I don't even want a family. So, I just feel like the attitude of the article was trying to uncover some sort of like maybe political source of like family life and career life in our country. But it made me, this is my main takeaway from like the tension of career and family, is like, if my priorities are right, then I can do all of those things well. If my priorities are right, then I can excel in my career, in my family, and my faith. When faith and family are above career, I can try as hard as I can and give so much to my career because my priorities are faith and family. That's what I feel like I took from it. If you're out there struggling, saying like, hey, I want to be successful in my career, but I also want a family, do it. Do both. Just have your priorities correct. Have your priorities, have your faith, your family, and then your career, and you can do all of them well. It's when one of those gets out of whack with each other, when one of those gets out of order, that stuff can fall apart. When there's an imbalance of all those things, that's when stuff can fall apart. So find your priorities of faith, family, and career, and having them in that order can allow you to excel, and allows me to excel. I'm trying my best out here, but allows me to excel in all of those and give 100% to all of those. So that's why I feel like, shout out to the author, but that's what I feel like was missing from this article, is that it wasn't talking about priorities. It was just all or nothing. Competition, family values and career. They have to be odds. It's like, I don't think they have to be. I think you can have a successful career and have a great family and follow God all really well. In fact, I think God commands that of us. And I think being good Catholics and really putting attention to that and being great leaders in our church is what's needed. Those examples are needed in our church to show the world that. So who were some examples? Going into some examples that I've seen recently of success in the profession and great family people and faith. Starting off in the news, Dan Hurley. All right, Dan Hurley, if you follow sports, if you follow basketball, Dan Hurley's been talked about the past week like crazy. Dan Hurley is the coach at UConn, the college basketball program, University of Connecticut, back-to-back national championship winner. He was interviewing for the Lakers head coaching job to coach LeBron. The Lakers, Los Angeles Lakers. He just turned them down, though. Everybody's talking about Dan Hurley this, Dan Hurley that, Dan Hurley, Dan Hurley, Dan Hurley. Now, this guy is the height of the coaching profession. Back-to-back national championships, going for a third this coming year. He's won everywhere he's gone. St. Benedict's High School, Wagner College, Rhode Island, UConn. He's won everywhere he's gone. Widely considered one of the best coaches out there. Now, I've seen some great interviews with him where he talks about the importance of his faith and how he's had, a continued conversion towards Christ in his prayer life every day. And following God allows him to be a great coach and allows him to give everything to coaching because he has a strong foundation in his faith and his belief in Jesus Christ. You can look up his YouTube interviews. And then he talks about his family. He talks about how his wife and his family, they're settled in UConn, in Connecticut, and how he highly considers and takes into account what his wife thinks if his wife wants to move. So he was talking about in these interviews, like, hey, I was talking to my wife and my kids, hey, would we want to go move to Los Angeles across the country, even if it's a great job in the NBA, a personal goal, more money? He was taking into account what his family thought was best for his family. That's having the right priority. That's having a foundation of faith where the entire world says, oh, well, you can go coach LeBron James, one of the two greatest basketball players ever. You're going to make more money. You're going to live in Los Angeles, warm weather all year round. And he was saying, I need to talk to my wife. I need to talk to my kids. I need to make sure what's best for us. Now, ultimately, he turned them down. So I thought that was such a great example of being like, dang, this guy's at the height of his profession, literally the most sought-after coach, the most sought-after person in his profession. And he's like, I need to make sure this is the best choice for my family. So if Danny Hurley's making that choice, I think we can all make that choice. We can all make that choice about saying, hey, we can trust God and have our foundation of faith and trust that he's going to put us in the right positions and that putting our families first is actually good for us, and that opportunities will still come our way. Now, I also like Danny Hurley. He's a Jersey guy. He's a Seton Hall guy. So just like me. So Seton Hall guy, Seton Hall grad. His wife's a Seton Hall grad. Shout out Seton Hall. Jersey guy, just like me. So super big soft spot for Danny Hurley. Obviously the Hurley family, like New Jersey basketball royalty. Totally relate with this guy, Danny Hurley. I love his coaching style. I love that guy. And he's actually so great that he's in college basketball, even though he's in this coaching against Seton Hall. We have beat them 2 years in a row, though. So back-to-back national championships. We beat them 2 years in a row, so we're back-to-back beaters of the national champions, just saying. So I thought that was a great example of having your priorities straight. Faith, family, career. Another guy who was also at the height of his profession, another coach, is Joe Mazzulla. Joe Mazzulla is the head coach of the Boston Celtics. He's in his second year of being a coach. Second year being a coach for the Celtics, and they're in the finals. They're up 2-0. He's 35 years old. He's around my age. Again, another shout out. He played at West Virginia, but I was playing at Seton Hall. We played against Joe Mazzulla when he was on the Mountaineers. So I have a soft spot for him too. He's a great Catholic from Rhode Island. Grew up in Rhode Island. Great Catholic guy. And he's had some quotes in press conferences that I think have been great examples of letting his identity as a Catholic and his identity in God be greater than his identity as a head coach. Now, again, I think sometimes when we think about being a really good, as a Catholic, I think sometimes we could think about being really, really good at our career, and we think of ourselves as a Catholic something. So a Catholic head coach, a Catholic personal trainer, a Catholic accountant, a Catholic podcaster. It's not easy for us just to say, hey, I'm a head coach. I'm also a Catholic. I think a lot of times we want to jump at the opportunity to say that we're Catholic because we want people to know, hey, these are my values, this is where I stand. I think Joe Mazzulla does a great job of being a great coach, having a coach style, just like being a great coach. But when people present stuff to him and he has the opportunity to speak about God in his press conferences, he takes it. So it's not like he's starting every single press conference just like, the guys really, I think, were extra holy today, so that's why we won. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, these guys are just getting their prayer time in, so I feel like that's our key to success. No. But he got a question recently where they said, hey, what do you feel about two black head coaches coaching the finals for something like 50 years? And his response was, I wonder how many of those have been Christian coaches. And he was implying that his identity in Christ is more important to him than his skin color. And that people make a big deal out of, identities and as head coaches. But he took the opportunity to say, hey, that's great, but my identity doesn't even lie in my skin color or being a head coach. It lies in being a Christian. So it's easy to let our identity be in our profession. We know that we're always fighting an uphill battle against our identity being our profession. Joe Mazzulla is the head coach of the NBA Finals leading Boston Celtics. He has every right in the eyes of the world just to be like, yeah, I'm a pretty awesome coach. I've worked hard. I deserve to be here. I'm the greatest. I wake up in the morning. I'm the greatest there is. I don't know what else to say. But he has the humility when the moment is right to show that his identity doesn't lie in being one of the top coaches in the entire world, but actually in being a Christian. So it's a powerful witness. Because again, I'm one of those people that's like, am I a Christian media person? Am I a Christian? He's a Catholic CEO. It's like, he's not just a CEO, he's a Catholic CEO. It can be hard to figure out where our Catholic identity lies in our career. But I think Joe Mazzulla is a great example of he's just excellent at being a coach and excellent in his profession, excellent at his industry, excellent at what he's doing. And that's a great witness. And when the questions come to him, he has the opportunities to talk about Christ. So because he's excellent at what he does, opportunities come for him to witness. He doesn't have to lead with witnessing all the time. I think that's our attitude. We feel like we have to witness all the time. I know, I'll speak for me. I know I do. I feel like it's one of those things where, like, if talking about prayer comes up, okay, I'll talk about it. Well, how did you come to this decision? Prayer. You're like, oh, okay, discernment, prayer. And talking about it, but prayer. It's like jumping at the opportunity to talk, to witness, which is good. But I think when we're talking about this idea of career and family and faith and how do they all work together, being excellent at what you do in your career speaks very loudly. Christ wants us to be excellent in our career and to use our talents and to be great at what we're doing. And when we do that, opportunities to witness come to us. So shout out to Joe Mazzulla. You probably don't remember me. I was on the end of the bench, Seton Hall. We lost to you in 2011 at West Virginia. Yeah, the musket go off. That was insane. But shout out to Joe, following your career. I love your witness. I love that you're a great coach, and you're just like a real example of being excellent at what you do. So shout out Joey Muzz. Okay. And then the last kind of tying this all together is I heard a radio segment recently. Saying the 3 things that people regret on their deathbed. What are the 3 regrets? And, I feel like this is probably an appropriate way to end this episode, which is like faith, family, career. Okay, what does this all mean at the end of our lives? There was this person who I guess was a nurse, and she cared for like 10,000 people at the end of their life, palliative care. And she wrote a book or an essay or something, and it was like, hey, these are the 3 top things that people regret it at the end of their life. So these are 3 things we don't want to do. We don't want to have. And I'll just run through them really quickly, but I think it's all really appropriate to what we're talking about here today. So number 1, regrets of the dying. I didn't live life on my own terms. Now, I think that, again, as Catholics, we always kind of put our own needs, I think, like second. Where it's like, okay, well, like life on my own terms, that can sound selfish. But when our priority is God first, when our priorities are faith first, God works through our heart. And so when we're following God, eventually our heart wants to follow God, and our heart reveals what God wants. And so when we live for other people, and when we live for the world, when we live for other people's expectations of us, we live for a career, when we just do what other people want, we're either living for God or for us, so then it's at odds. But when we really put God first, I think we're able to then allow ourselves the freedom to follow our heart, because God's going to be working and writing on our own heart. Number 2 regret is I worked too hard in my career, life. Again, that imbalance we're talking about. If you're all about career, you're not about family, you're not about your faith, it's going to be out of balance. And you need to have that proper balance. You can work really hard in your career, you're supposed to, but you're also supposed to have healthy family life and a solid foundation of a faith life on God. And then you can work really hard. But if you put all of the effort and energy and everything into work and career, you're going to be out of balance. You're going to regret it. Obviously, these are the regrets of dying. They say your work doesn't remember that vacation you took with your family, but your family remembers that vacation you didn't take because of work. So, again, that's kind of like a little saying, but let's remember that because we have a strong foundation of faith and family, we're able to put a lot of effort into work and be excellent at our careers, be excellent at what we do, because our identity is not in our jobs, our identity is not in our individual successes, our identity is not in the awards or achievements, our identity is in God. So we're able to put effort into work because that's not where our identity lies. Because we're also able to have healthy boundaries with it as well. So, and then number 3 is I didn't express my feelings. Now, we didn't really talk about feelings too much in this episode. So I don't want to get too into this, but I think where this ties into what we're talking about is like, hey, like having these conversations with your family, with your wife, with your husband, with your kids. Don't be scared to talk about careers and your faith and family and where these priorities lie. Don't be scared to admit that maybe your priorities are off and you've been neglecting your faith, or that you haven't put as much effort into your career because you're scared of, working really hard. I don't know, but, let's not be afraid to express where our priorities lie with our faith, family, and career. Because it's a team effort. It's a team sport. These are all team sports. Faith, family, and career are all team sports, and we have to be good teammates. Just ask Danny Hurley. Just ask Joe Mazzulla. So, I thought it was an interesting article, the New York Times article, and I thought Danny Hurley and Coach Joe were great examples of being great in your profession and having great faith and great family life. So, let me know what you think. Tell me about your kind of experience with this. Do you feel like you feel a tension of career and faith and family? Where have you fallen short? Where do you find successes? What are your tips? I didn't give a ton of my own experiences, but I just know I feel all of this. Just know I feel all of this and how I fit into it. But I feel like having the foundation, the priorities right is where I've tried to live in. So let me know what you think. Let me know where you're at with it. I'd love to hear if you'd love to have a good conversation about this. So write a comment, write an email, DM me, wherever. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. So that's it for me today. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you all for checking in. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, share this episode with someone who'd like it. I'll see you all next time. Peace. Bye.